Welcome to Daily News Dose, your daily fix of politics. Wolfgang Schäuble honored with state funeral in Berlin. The former Bundestag president, minister, and CDU leader Wolfgang Schäuble was praised for his contributions to Germany and Europe by politicians and friends at a state funeral in the Bundestag. The French President Emmanuel Macron delivered a speech in which he called Schäuble a pillar for Europe and thanked him for his friendship and vision. The CDU chairman Friedrich Merz shared personal stories about Schäuble's perseverance, loyalty, and love for music and football. He also highlighted Schäuble's legacy for the parliamentary democracy and the rule of law. Schäuble served in the Bundestag for 51 years, longer than anyone else in German history. He held various positions in the government and survived an assassination attempt in 1990 that left him paralyzed. He died on December 26, 2023. At the age of 81. Ampel versus Union, who's right on family benefits? A coalition dispute between the Ampel parties, SPD, FDP, and Greens, and the opposition union, CDU, CSU, ignites over the children's allowance and child benefit in Germany. The FDP and Finance Minister Christian Lindner want to increase the children's allowance, which benefits families with higher incomes. But the SPD and Greens oppose this plan and demand a higher child benefit for all families. The union supports the FDP's position and argues that the children's allowance is constitutionally required and reaches the majority of families. The union also criticizes the SPD and Greens for devaluing the work of families and portraying the children's allowance as a benefit for the rich. SUVs under fire, environmental group calls for higher parking fees. A study by Transport and Environment shows that new cars in Europe have grown 10 centimeters wider in the past 20 years, with Germany leading the trend. SUVs are sporty and spacious vehicles that appeal to many drivers. The German Environmental Aid, DUH, argues that SUVs consume more fuel, emit more CO2, block sidewalks and green spaces, and endanger pedestrians and cyclists. The DUH urges cities to impose higher parking fees for heavier and larger cars, as Paris plans to do. The ADAC, Germany's largest automobile club, criticizes the DUH for scandalizing and demonizing SUVs. The ADAC says that higher parking fees based on weight are unfair and would affect other car models as well. Paris's proposal to triple the parking fees for SUVs in the city center is subject to a referendum by the citizens. FDP threatens to block EU supply chain law. The EU supply chain law aims to ensure environmental and social standards in global production chains. It was agreed upon by the EU states and the European Parliament in December 2023. The FDP, a liberal party in Germany's coalition government, opposes the law, arguing that it would create excessive bureaucracy and legal uncertainty for businesses. The FDP's decision could prevent Germany from approving the law at the EU level. Germany already has a national supply chain law since 2023, which requires companies to respect human rights and environmental standards along their value chain. The EU law would go beyond the German law in terms of scope and obligations. The SPD and the Greens, the other two parties in the coalition, support the EU law and are in talks with the FDP to find a common position. The EU vote is expected to take place in early February 2024. Subscribe to the Daily News Dose channel to not miss any news update anymore.